Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, President Rodrigo Duterte warns lawmakers to fix issues threatening to delay the budget, or he will take matters into his own hands. Also, House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano apologizes to the president, vowing to pass the 2021 budget on time. Cavite Representative Elpidio Barzaga tells us more in the program. And later, the president is also set to meet with his cabinet to discuss a reopening of the economy amid the coronavirus pandemic, and over 7 million families saying they are hungry. What is the government doing to address this? Interagency Task Force co-chairperson and Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles joins us live. First time, President Rodrigo Duterte speaks up on the 2021 budget issue in a surprise address. Although he didn't name names, the president asked people involved in the squabble not to drag him into their mess. A visibly exasperated president says he wants to leave a legacy of good governance for his family and the nation to remember. Here's the president in his own words.
Wala pa namang kalokohan akong nakita. Pero wag naman sana ninyong sobrahan ang laro sa Congress na yung budget mismo ang nalagay sa alanganin. Gusto ko lang sabihin in one straight statement. Either you resolve the issue sa impasse ninyo dyan and pass the budget legally and constitutionally. Pag hindi ninyo ginawa, ako ang gagawa para sa inyo. Hindi ako nananakot. Wala akong ambisyon manakot. Wala rin akong ambisyon na tatagal dito sa pwestong to. Na puro problema.
Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Cavite Representative Elpidio Barzaga Jr. Congressman Barzaga, welcome to the source and maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Good morning, Pinky.
The president spoke to the nation yesterday, Congressman, at malinaw po sa kanya kailangang maipasa ang budget on time. What is first your reaction to the president's speech?
Well, the message is very clear. Naiintindihan naman natin na kinakailangang ipasa ang budget, wag isakripisyo ang budget, gawa ng speakership problem, and it has to be passed legally and constitutionally. Otherwise, if we would not be able to pass the budget, it will be the president who shall solve the problem. That is the very clear message of the President. Sapagkat lagi naman nating sinasabi, we cannot afford a reenacted budget during this pandemic. Walang provisions ang present budget to address the pandemic problem, pambili ng PPE, pambili ng mga testing facilities, etc., which were not included in the present budget.
Mm-hmm. At dahil sinabi po ito ng Pangulo, ano ang dapat gawin ng House of Representatives?
Well, I think it's about time that the House leadership convene, call a meeting among the leaders and find out what would be the best way in order to show to the President and to our people that we are not derailing the budget deliberations as well as its passage in the lower house. If necessary, we can reconvene Congress, calls for a special session, and that is permitted under our rules even after October 15.
Do you suggest, Congressman Barzaga, na dapat mag-reconvene na kayo for now? Because that is also the appeal of some congressmen from the Makabayan Bloc, minority leaders, and of course, the group of Lord Alan Velasco. I'll repeat the question, sir. Dapat ho ba, para sa inyo, do you support calls to already reconvene the House of Representatives?
Well, I think with the message of the President and to show good faith to the President and to our people that we want to approve the budget on time, that we want to have a reenacted budget perhaps, it's about time to rethink about the suspension and perhaps call for a resumption of the budget deliberation. That is my personal opinion.
Did you find it right that sessions were actually suspended, sir?
Yes, the session was suspended and specifically under Section 87 of our rules, we can convene the House during the period of recess as long as there is consultation by the Speaker with the majority and minority leaders together in consultation with their counterpart in the Senate. And this we can do even after October 15 pertaining to the session without the necessity of the President calling for a special session. It will just be a special session on the part of the House of Representatives. Insofar as the Senate is concerned, I have to admit, I do not personally know whether or not such provision is present in their present rules in the Senate.
Ang sabi po ng Pangulo, Congressman, ang budget daw nalalagay sa alanganin. And he's appealing to you, you resolve the issue sa impasse and pass the budget legally. Pag hindi, ako ang gagawa para sa inyo. Ito ho bang naging mensahe ng Pangulo, you think, would influence the leadership of the House to reconvene Congress and begin sessions again?
Well, definitely. Kasi I have been always saying that although there is separation between the executive and Congress, that separation can never be absolute. And it can be shown insofar as the speakership issue is concerned. Since time immemorial, the speaker would be someone who is close to the president. That's already a fact. And since the president has categorically stated this message, then it's about time for us to rethink what would be the action of the House in order to convince the president that we are doing through definite actions that we do not want to derail the passage of the budget. As simple as that.
Aha. Ano ho ba para sa inyo yung passing the budget on time? What is the deadline for you to be able to pass this on time, meaning on third and final reading, have this printed, and send it to the Senate?
Well, Pinky, nais kong ipaliwanag that the approval of the budget is not entirely dependent upon the House of Representatives. Pagkatapos namin mapas ang budget, pinapadala namin yan sa Senado. And the Senate will be the one making the necessary revision, amendments, if any, and then after that, they would be having a bicameral conference. So hindi lamang nakasalalay sa House, nakasalalay din sa Senado. Sa House naman, ang lagi naming sinasabi, we want to approve it in the immediate possible time. And that was the reason why we created a small committee to take all the amendments, all the proposals of our individual members, and whatever proposals had been accepted by the small committee that will be presented to the floor for the ratification of the majority. And the creation of a small committee, yung pagtatatag ng small committee after the second reading, has already been the practice for a very long period of time in the House of Representatives. Kasi yun naman budget natin, it covers the entire budget of the entire Philippines. At kung mag-alo kami ng mga individual amendments, it will take a very long period of time. It would not be practical.
Well, that is true, Congressman. The senators are saying this. Kapag napas po yan on third and final reading, there is about 7 to 10 days before this is actually printed and sent to the Senate. Some senators want to scrutinize this budget. So they want about 1 or 2 weeks to be able to look into this. At hindi daw ito madaling basahin. Sabi nga ni SP Soto, hindi naman daw sila pumipirma lang dyan. Pagkatapos po nun, they will deliberate on this. Pagkatapos po nun, meron pa rin pong BICAM. To be fair, Ano ho ba ang petsang nakikita ninyo para matawag pong napasa ng House ang budget on time?
Well, ang statement ng aming speaker, it will be passed on November 17. Because on November 16, we shall be resuming the session. We will present the budget on its third and final reading, and it will be approved on November 16, and it will be transmitted to the Senate the following day, November 17. But yesterday, Speaker Alan Cayetano has stated, and this was confirmed by the other senators, na bibigyan na ng listing ni Speaker Cayetano ang Senate as early as November 5 so that they can deliberate, they can scrutinize the proposed budget even if the same has not been subjected to third and final reading.
I do know about that, Congressman, pero ang kalalabasan pa rin po nun kahit po November 5, tapos November 17 ang third and final reading, and of course, on November 5 they will transmit a copy, and then after November 16 or 17, once approved, kailangan pa po ito i-print and then send the official copy. Are you still, my question is, standing by this November 17 deadline for the House to pass the budget on third and final reading? Magiging sapat na panahon ho ba yun para sa Senado na maaral ito at hindi po tayo mauwi sa reenacted budget? Or do you think kailangan nyo pong agahan?
Well, my position is that sa tingin namin, after consulting the various leaders of the House who had the experience of passing the budget, sufisyente yan for the Senate to act on the budget. Of course, the senators are asking that time would be insufficient. Kaya nga ang sabi ni Speaker Alan Cayetano, okay, by way of compromise, November 5, isasubmit na namin ang budget na aming approval on November 16. And actually, kung ano naman ang isasubmit ni Speaker Cayetano, 100% I can guarantee that will be the budget to be passed on November 16 because Speaker Cayetano and perhaps all the congressmen are aware that we have to pass it even though some of the congressmen will be having some reservations, some oppositions about the budget to be passed.
Congressman, as a last question, ang sabi po ng Pangulo, pass it legally. Pag hindi, ako ang gagawa para sa inyo. Para po sa inyo, how do you understand it when the President said, kung hindi nyo gagawin, ako ang gagawa para sa inyo?
Well, there are several alternatives on the part of the President. Number one, the President can call a special session. We have to consider that the President wields a very big influence insofar as Congress, both the Senate and the House is concerned. And I think we will not reach to that point where the President would not, where Congress would not be able to pass the budget on time because the President knows we cannot afford to have a reenacted budget. And as to how the President will do it, I do not really know what are the other possible actions he would take. I just want to mention that the President has a very high approval rating right now, 91%, and therefore, whatever the President does, he will have the support of our people.
Cavite 4th District Representative Elpidio Barzaga Jr. Sir, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Okay, maraming salamat din, Pinky. Thank you very much.
And coming up, President Rodrigo Duterte is set to call for a full cabinet meeting to jumpstart the economy, and the government is also set to roll out a national food policy to address hunger. Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles will join us live to tell us more. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned.